Let's take you to one of the big stories that we've been tracking, that of Vice President Kamala Harris, who has in fact secured enough support from the Democratic delegates to become the nominee that will go up against Donald Trump come November elections. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Stephen Chan from the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London. Good evening, Professor. Thank you very much for joining us on The Full View. I must say, the lead up to America's election is proving to be very eventful. From the analysis on President Biden's mental acuity post that presidential debate, to the attempted assassination, to the president's withdrawal, that's Joe Biden, and now the Democratic delegates coalescing around Kamala Harris as the replacement candidate. What are your views on this particular moment where a black female candidate could possibly become the nominee for Democrats?
Well, it's a very interesting and a very profound moment in history. There's no doubt about that. The Democrats had to do this in a big hurry, and they've probably chosen the only candidate that they could have chosen at this very, very short moment in time. She'll be a good candidate, however. She'll be able to take the Democrat cause forward. It's not going to be easy, but I think the Democrats have done the best they could. The real difficulty is that Joe Biden took so long to make up his mind to stand down as the presidential candidate.
What are her chances, though, to win against Donald Trump?
She's doing well so far. In a very short space of time, she's secured enough Democrat votes for the convention next month. She's raised an awful lot of a very short period of time, although you've got to say that a lot of this money would have gone to Biden if the supporters of Biden had been confident in him. So what you can say is she's making up for lost time. She's catching up on ground that Biden lost. So it's too soon to tell whether or not she's got momentum of her own. I think she will gain momentum of her own, but it's got to be, as it were, tested over the next couple of weeks.
Now, Professor, yesterday commentators were saying that the Republicans, what they have is the much required unity behind a single candidate, the candidate being Donald Trump, which was not evident for the Democrats yesterday because it was still too early. But now it seems the Democrats have also united behind Harris. Was this a smart move on the part of the Democrats to quickly coalesce around her candidacy?
They had no choice. It was a smart move, you're certainly right, but they had no choice. They had to coalesce around a single candidate quickly. Harris was the least controversial candidate in that she was already vice president. She's probably going to choose as her vice presidential running mate someone who is very, very much the poster boy of Californian politics. This will give the Democrats, as it were, a boost forward into the future. A black female, a white, very handsome male vice presidential candidate. So far, but out of desperation, I have to add, they're doing the best they can.
Now, we've heard that there are policies that she'll look to pass that were dropped by President Biden's inflation or during President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, among them being the family leave, which some have said is quite expensive. Is this the route to take now, to have some of those very populist policies perhaps resurfacing?
I don't think she's got any choice but to take forward Biden's policies. They've already been announced, and the Democrat Party has got to be united behind those policies. What she's got to do is to sound convincing on issues of immigration, for instance. She's got to, as it were, persuade a lot of the conservative electorate on her views on abortion, which are very, very liberal. These are going to be key battleground issues. So she's got to find a way to pitch to conservative America, which was behind Biden, that she also is someone who can appeal to them and represent them. We all have, as it were, very, very stereotypical views of the American electorate. Even so, any presidential candidate has got to appeal to these very, very different, sometimes very difficult parts of the electorate.
All right, Professor, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's Professor Stephen Chan from the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London.